How we doing, folks? It's been a minute since I streamed in general, but it's been a minute since we got any Forgotten Falls news. And I wanted to do this live so people could ask questions in live time. Not just the SMP members, but people who just watch the stuff on here or maybe on the TikTok or whatever. I'm not live on the TikTok. I haven't figured out how to, I haven't set up to go live on both TikTok and YouTube at the same time. But I might do that in the future. I don't know. I don't know how much I'll live stream. This is kind of an experiment right now. Anyway, this is going to be a live Q&A. I'll probably try to answer all the questions towards the end, but if I see it, if I catch it while I'm talking, then I'll try to answer it. Because I got some things I want to go through. I got a little bullet point list of stuff for Season 2. Season 2 is being worked on again. I haven't worked on it in like 3 months, but I recently started to get back into it and talking with some people. I am working on it again. It is well along production, for lack of a better word. The spawn and everything, and then the mods. It's gonna be, that is the big one. That's not on my list. Like I said, I'll probably think of stuff as I speak. But the server did vote months ago, well, at this point, but they did vote to have some like vanilla plus type mods, and that's all there's gonna be. It's not gonna be some insane modded sort of thing. The furthest it's gone is, I think there's one I'm debating that's like a biome mod, but it doesn't have anything crazy, just more building blocks primarily. So I'm kind of iffy on that one. It's mainly just enhancing the base game with a few extra additions, like more food and stuff. Just some basic stuff. There is one big thing that mainly works because of the way the server works. It doesn't affect the regular Minecraft game that much, but I'll get into that later. That's on the list. We can go ahead and get started. Let me make sure the audio on the music isn't too loud. Try to keep it kind of low. Like I said, feel free to ask any questions you have. It might be something I have on my list, it might not be. But I do want to get started with the biggest one, or some of the biggest ones, biggest changes and biggest things. Seems like audio's fine. Okay. So the biggest thing, well, I may as well get this out of the way. This one's quick. Any current SMP member listening to this live or afterwards, or any current SMP member obviously doesn't have to reapply for Season 2. There is a new application in the pinned comment. That's for new people. You don't have to reapply. If you're not interested in playing Season 2, like, just ain't your thing anymore, I get that. Just let me know. But no, you don't have to reapply if you're planning on playing Season 2. If you're already on the SMP for Season 1. And still a part of it, because there's some people that were and now aren't. If you're still in the Discord, let me put it that way, the Forgotten Falls Discord, then you get a little pass if you're still interested. You don't have to reapply or nothing. So, besides that, that's the quick one. Let's get to the biggest ones. And this is the biggest one, to the point where I made a whole video teasing it, which you can watch the World Assembly video. There won't be a World Assembly, at least one that's ran by the admins, one that's kind of server-wide, that, like, it's basically how it was ran in Season 1. If you don't know what the World Assembly was, it's essentially RUN, or the closest thing we have. They could pass sort of resolutions that its members would have to follow. In exchange, there were some benefits, like, obviously, everyone was on pretty good terms. You a lot more, working out ideas that could benefit everybody. There's some stimulus packages that were passed for the one-person nations and the smaller nations, stuff like that. It's a whole bunch of stuff. But essentially, that won't be a thing, because I want to leave pretty much everything to be player-driven. There is going to be some admin stuff, but like in terms of a WA or World Assembly or anything like that, there will not be admin ran. You could form your own. You don't have to, not even necessarily called the World Assembly. You could form your own type of multi-government thing like that. That is everyone, every server member's prerogative if they want to do that with their nations or not. If that's what they think they want to do, then feel free. But I'm leaving it up to the nations and the players on the server. Which means also, there could be multiple, and means also that there will be a lot of nations that don't join something like that to have the extra restrictions. It'll be weighing out if it's worth it, the restrictions to get the benefits, whatever those benefits may be. But that's the biggest one, so that's why I wanted to get that out of the way for the people who couldn't stay along or just trying to, you know, get through this after the fact. That's the biggest one. Some of the other big ones is this one's pertaining to like stores and stuff. There will be a little market at spawn where you can put stores, but other than that, that one will use what I'm calling the alternate currency. I'm gonna have a currency mod. That's the big one I was talking about earlier. The thing with Forgotten Falls Season 1 is everyone kind of defaulted to diamonds, when in reality, you could have made whatever you want as your currency. Like, if you wanted to sell as dirt in your nation, you could have. I wouldn't back that currency, but you know, like I did some iron ones, some emerald. I don't think I did emerald, but I did iron, gold, stuff like that. But diamonds, you know, I mean, you're more than willing to use that as your currency, more than welcome. But there'll be an alternate currency mod with like actual coins and stuff like that. That'll be the currency that's used at spawn. So if you put a store at spawn, that'll be the currency you have to use. Those different types of coins. Just to promote that a little bit. I think the mod also has like an ATM type system, so that may be another incentive to use that. It's mainly just a way to make sure one person named Purple Gaming doesn't have all pretty much 60% of the economy, and then I have like 30% of it, and then the rest of the 10 is split between everybody else. So 90% was with the president and vice president of one faction. It's pretty much just a way to kind of promote, like, hey, alternate economies. It's a lot harder for one person to have kind of the world under his foot, if you will, if there's multiple currencies and more ways for different nations to prosper, type of thing. With that as well, there's a couple other things. Obviously, with no WA, all those resolutions, some of them have been adopted as war rules or server rules, and if any member takes a look at those rules, they've been changed. They better fit Season 2. Some of them are still up for debate, like War Rule 10, I think it is. I'll go through them all here in a bit. But, they have been changed. But anyway, one of the big ones is a bartering system. There will be a bartering system, but it's going to be run a little bit different. Anarchy, I agree, Rio. I have different plans for what I plan to do. I'm not going to be doing another NWR type group. So Anarchy could be funny to watch this time. In terms of the bartering system, there's going to be set, make sure I get this right, set transactions, like say, like how we're kind of just came up with a number when it came to like bartering and exchange rate. That's what I was thinking of. There will be a set exchange rate for different things, and the list is going to be a lot smaller. I feel like it became a little bloated. It's mainly just going to be items that are non-renewable in a Minecraft world that's limited with a world border. Now, that doesn't mean you guys won't have any say, because I'm going to put something up, especially for this and a couple other things, like a either a full Google form or just like a tab in the Discord to the SMP members to give suggestions and stuff to be in that list. I have a couple in mind. There's a couple ideas. Depending on how much I want to automate this system, so you don't have to wait for me or a different admin to get on, I might set up like a little trade stations that do the exchanges, like one of the trade, not like NPCs necessarily, but like a store mod or something. I don't know yet. I haven't fully figured it out, but there will be a system in place with some bartering. Moving on from that, I guess I better clarify the rules since I brought them up. So in terms of rules, not much has changed. You know, the Discord's private, the server's private. Don't leak the Discord, don't invite people, don't leak the server IP, or you're gonna get banned. Technically, you can steal from people, Rio, but you know, if people turn against you, they turn against you, and there's still the option in place for a server vote to ban somebody if most of the server doesn't want them on the server anymore. That is still a thing in place. You have to have a majority, a super majority, 66%. But it's still a thing in place. In terms of other stuff, like, don't destroy people's stuff if you're not at war or whatever and you're not there. Like some of the war rules, but this is just, I'm talking just SMP rules right now. Don't destroy people's stuff. Nobody wants to wake up, get on Minecraft and see their entire base destroyed for no good reason. If you do, you'll get banned. It's one thing, like trolling's one thing, but like I said, it's if you piss people off, they piss them off. Rule number 5 used to be the spawn island rule. It's not a spawn island this time. It's a village, and I just went with the name Woodhurst Village. It's like a medieval type name. I don't know. I just came to my head. That's gonna be the new spawn. That's kind of the new neutral area. The Woodhurst Market, if I can speak, will be the little trade zone at spawn instead of the economic zone like it was in season 1. There'll be a border around it, probably just a fence border like the last time. Just don't break stuff, don't attack people. It's a neutral zone, same as first go around. Don't show the Discord publicly. Don't just jump into VCs unless somebody knows beforehand or you ask or whatever. All that common stuff. This is mainly for people who are interested in joining. Keep it TOS friendly. PvP's allowed, but you know, if you anger enough people and they want you off the server, they want you off the server. Toxicity, all that. IRL politics is a spot where it's like, yeah, jokes are cool. Keep it civil. Keep it mainly pertain to the server's politics and diplomacy, all that fun jazz. 12 I actually need to fix because there is no WA. The only creative they'll be used is for the barter system and stuff at spawn. That is it. There's no creative. If you glitch and lose your inventory, I mean, that's one thing. That's a case-by-case basis, like in situation. But that's pretty much it. I'll fix that rule after the fact. I recommend streaming, but if you can't, you can't, or if you don't want to, you don't want to. You know, it's content at the end of the day. If somebody's a good fit, tell them to apply. Let me know. Give them a recommendation if that's what you want to do. And, you know, all that. The End and Nether are fair game. I'm clarifying this now. It's actually also on my list. It's in the rules and on my list, so I'll go through it now. The End and Nether, saying this now, are pretty much seen as zones where sort of war rules and all that sort of stuff are null and void. So if you build a base in the Nether and somebody blows up the Nether, well, it's the Nether. If they blow up the base, it's gone. If you can find out who did it, then, you know, blow up their Nether base or whatever, or end base or whatever. They're fair game. If you form a WA, you can try to make rules, but at the end of the day, if somebody breaks those rules, the admins aren't going to help you. Because the Nether and End are fair game. I'm saying this now multiple times, so people get it. The End and Nether are fair game. So be careful. Somebody could just jump you if you're in the Nether or the End. How often it'll happen? Probably more realistically in the Nether than the End. But it's something to take note of. So if you build something, it's fair game. If you store stuff there, it's fair game. People could technically just attack you, but if they're jackasses about it, then, you know, if it's a case where they're spawn killing everybody, then that's the only case where, like, an admin might step in. Be like, hey, you're ruining this for everybody. Knock it off. But if it's just like, you're both end up at an end city or something, and they want the loot and you want the loot, and they kill you so they can get the loot, I mean, hey, it happens. Same with the Nether, with any fortresses or nothing. I don't know how often that'll happen, but it's in place, and I'm putting it out there now. 16 is just about a Woodhurst village. It's a neutral zone, no PvP breaking blocks. I'm going to do something with the dragon egg. It's not going to be the exact same as last time, but I do have an idea with the dragon egg. So it will be, whenever the dragon's killed, the egg will be confiscated for an event. And then whoever wins it, wins it. That's it. But it's going to be a prize for an event. Or maybe part of an event. I haven't fully decided on that, but it'll be one or the other. Just because it's a one-off item, and I think it's more fun that way. Farms involving redstone are prohibited for the sake of serviceability, including raid farms. Hoppers and hopper minecarts are still allowed for non-redstone use. Machines like redstone doors that are activated manually are fine, but if it lags, you know, use it when only your faction's on, or when you're just on, or whatever. No duping, X-raying, macros, or auto-clickers. That's all pretty obvious. And that's all the rules for the server. It's pretty simple. No hacking, you know, don't be a dick. It's all pretty self-explanatory. War rules is pretty simple. Between two parties, if you get a Casus Belli, that's, we'll go over those in a second. That's the way you can declare war without a formal declaration. Any allies can join the war. If that's the alliance you guys formed, if that's in your little contract. Alliances do have to have some sort of treaty or something to refer to, or stuff like that, where either a treaty in like a book and quill, or just public disclosure to the SMP so people know. One or the other. You can keep it all, on the books, but like, between yourselves until it's time for the war, then I guess you'll kind of know. But if you want to form some, I don't want to say off the book because it's in a book, but it's between the parties, agreements like that can happen because it makes things more interesting, to be quite honest with you. 2.5 is kind of useless because declarations of war never really happen without a Casus Belli, but it's in place just in case. Peace treaties must be agreed upon and signed by both parties, and an optional third-party mediator. That'd just be a separate nation, separate from the conflict, or an admin, which would most likely just be me. If decides to surrender, then that has to mark peace talks. Peace talks can fail, but you have to at least attempt them if a side surrenders. Otherwise, you're declared a warmonger and lose any admin support or features, meaning like the bartering system and stuff, or any admin support of any kind, for the duration, for the time equating the duration of the war plus 1 calendar day. Allied nations and groups are able to join the war, all that. Spawn village is off limits, including loot and stores. That is one place you cannot loot stores, or risk the admins getting involved. You really shouldn't loot in general, but technically, you could try to get away with it, Rio. Speaking to you and Moon directly, you could try. Well, like I said, Rule 4, people can ban you if they wanna do the vote. They can for anybody. You could still ban people as the store owner, so you could ban somebody from shopping there and going into it. That's fine. If you're to attack someone without their agreement to a war, then that Casus Belli goes for literally everybody. Meaning, if you attack, I'm just going to use Season 1 as an example. If Ducklantis attacked the NWR for whatever reason, without the NWR, like without a Casus Belli or declaration of war, then not just the NWR, but the entire server, every nation at that moment that's formed, has a Casus Belli against Ducklantis. Because they were deemed, that's another way to be deemed a warmonger, I guess, in a sense, but with a different punishment, being the Casus Belli for everybody. You can only launch attacks on opposing parties if they have players are online and are in the base you plan to attack. That's a big one. However, this I added because of how the wars went last time. If they flee, you can still loot. Let me repeat that. Physical destruction, kinda off the table. But you can loot. So if Ducklantis flees after the NWR curb stomps them, or begins to, then they could still loot the base. You just can't destroy it. This is important to at least give an incentive for people to not just run away every 5 seconds, because quite frankly, that's not fun for anybody. Now, we don't want a curb stomp, but that was just the example that came to mind. Of course, you can also still chase after the person and attack them, as long as they're on. The only other thing that might change with that is if somebody's a constant, constantly DCing to, like, right before they die, or constantly kind of just being an ass. That happens sometimes, but, like, if it's constant, then I might do, like, add something to the rule. That's the only other thing I can think of. If they're constantly DCing to avoid death, even though, especially if they're the ones starting wars. But we'll see. That'll be a case-by-case thing, and a thing I have to think about. At least one person must be live or recording each conflict, because at the end of the day, why else would you do it besides to be an ass? Content's funny. And then number 10, the final rule, right now, which could change, I don't know. This one is adopted from one of the first resolutions from the WA, and it was that withers were banned in all combat. I don't know for sure if I want to keep that or not, but as of now, it's in there. That one will be discussed. And then that's about it for that. That kind of covers Woodhurst Village, the spawn, and the Northern End pretty well, I'd say. This will be the time, if anybody has any questions, feel free. And if you're watching after the fact, you can drop in the comments and I'll try to get back to you. Or if you're a server member, then DM me or whatever. Or whatever, however you gotta get a hold of me. Other than that, that leaves some of the mods. Like I said, there's a food mod, there's maybe a biome mod. I don't know for sure on that one yet. That one I have to think about. It's going to be on 1.18.2, mainly because some mods weren't compatible with 1.19.0. Plus, it's a Fabric server, and Fabric, for some reason, is a little finicky on 1.19.0. Or at least it has been with the mods I have for some reason. So, right now, the only thing I'm working on doing is getting Optifine to work, because it's also finicky, but it's finicky on literally every version of Minecraft for some reason that I make servers on. So that one's a case of figuring that out. I can deal with that. I'll have it working before the server launches. In terms of joining, like I said, the application's there. It's pretty simple, pretty straightforward. There's not a lot on there. It's mainly just, hey, what do you plan to do? What's your main platform if you have one? If you're a creator, how old are you? Because there's a certain age you have to be to join the server. Your in-game name, so we can whitelist you, best way to contact you, what the server's about, if you agree or disagree, or yes or no, or whatever. Pretty simple. Shouldn't take more than like 3 to 5 minutes, if that, to be honest. And that's it. That's really what you have to do. And then if we get back to you, then you'll know. I'll contact you, or an admin will contact you. Whoever, somebody will get a hold of you on whatever you sent us is the best way to get a hold of you, whether it's email or like Twitter DM or Discord or whatever. We'll get to you. We'll get back with you if we think it'd be a good fit. I'll try to check it at least like once a week, but I can't make any promises, and that's really it on that. The only thing I specifically put on the list to cover, and this one is big. It's the big one, another big one. I'm gonna turn the music off. We gotta get real serious here. So, a release date for Forgotten Falls Season 2. I don't have one yet. I have a timetable kind of put in place, but I don't want to, confirm anything. I know how much stuff I will need and want to get done for the server before I'd be comfortable launching it. Plus, finding the right server host. I don't know if I want to run with Shockbite again or run with somebody else. I can't give an exact timetable. This year is kind of unlikely, but obviously by the end of next year, it'd either be canceled or up. But this year's kind of unlikely, maybe. I don't know. It just depends how much time I can work on it. The next few weeks, like 2 or 3 weeks, are kind of busy for me. I got a lot going on, so we'll see what happens. But after that, who knows? I'm trying to get it done. For the most part, the world itself, the spawn is done. I just got to figure out what I want to do with the bartering system and a few other things. There'll be a neutral coordinate spawn like there was last time. I didn't mention that. I meant to, for people to use, but it won't necessarily be admin ran per se. It's just going to be kind of one party versus the other, and then a neutral third person can be the judge. An admin, if need be, I guess can, but I doubt we'll use it that much. So that's just kind of a way to keep things balanced. But other than that, that's pretty much it on a release date. I don't really have a specific one. Like I said, I'm kind of been a little reinvigorated to get it done, so hopefully we can get it up and running here in the next couple months. Like I said, every server member is more than welcome to stick around for Season 2. They don't have to reapply. All like, I don't know, we're pushing 25, 26, something like that are still in the Discord, something like that. So you're all more than welcome to stick around. Not much else to say with that. It would be nice to see some new, like, not all the same factions, but if it happens, it happens. I know I have a very different idea. I have 2 ideas of what I want to do, and neither of them involve the NWR. I can tell you that right now. So, who knows? Then again, there's also the third option of I join up with somebody else. I don't know yet. I know I don't plan to put anything together for like a group or something before the server starts. I have my ideas, but I'll leave it at that. Anyway, I don't got much else, so if there's any last minute questions, like I said, if you don't catch it the live, if you're watching after the fact, put them in the comments or DM me if you don't want them to be in the comment section. Or get a hold of me in the server, whatever you gotta do. Find a way. I'm sure there's plenty. Twitter DMs, literally anything. If there are none, I'm trying to wait on YouTube delay. Then I hope you all have a good night or day or whatever time it is for you. Right now it's almost 8:30. I gotta get out of here and go watch a WWE pay-per-view with my boys. I'm sure they're watching it. Probably not actually, but yeah, that's gonna be that. Then if there's no questions, like I said, get a hold of me if you need to. The application should be open, so if you know anybody wants to apply or anybody's watching this that wants to apply, feel free. It'll be in the description if you're watching after the fact. Should be in there. The Twitter should be in there, and the form should be in there. That's about it then. If nobody else says anything, I'm gonna go ahead and head on out of here. Thank you guys for stopping by, either during the live or after the fact. Yeah, that's gonna be it. Catch you all later.